Hey everyone! Today I'll be talking about Tamagotchi by the Japanese toy company Bandai. It is a virtual pet that became popular in the late 90s and early 2000s and became a large part of people's childhoods, including my own. So prepare for incoming nostalgia! Oh, and as a brief summary, I'll be talking about the history of the franchise, as in who made it and when, my personal stories and collection because I'm a little bit of a nutcase and have a lot of them, and some little known fun facts because there's also a lot of those too, and honestly some of them sound completely made up, I am not even kidding. So, Tamagotchi was made in 1996 by Aki Maeda and Yokai Akihiro. It became the world's first virtual pet and won the Nobel Prize in 1997. Good for them! Tamagotchi is a portmanteau of tamago and uwochi, which means egg and watch in Japanese. There are many different versions of the toy, including originals, vintages, minis, nanos, connections, which is the most popular one, LED color screens, and more. Each vary in complexity, characters, and features. And some of these only come in certain languages, such as English, Japanese, and Korean. You can feed your Tamagotchi, play minigames, clean up after it, discipline it, give it medicine when it's sick, check its health meters, and turn off the lights when it needs to sleep. You do not need to constantly interact with it. It will beep when it needs you, and these things beep a lot. But don't worry, there's a mute and a pause button if you really need it. Depending on how you raise your virtual pet, it will affect how it grows up from baby to adult. The most growth stages there are across all versions is 4. Baby, child, teen, and adult. Some versions only have one or a couple of the stages though. At the end of every Tama's lifespan, they either die, get married, or leave to go back home. This is my first Tamagotchi ever. My cousins gave it to me in Christmas of 2006 along with my very first Webkinz plush, if any of you guys also remember that being a thing. It is a Tamagotchi Connection version 3. I played it constantly and drove my mom absolutely nuts. She wanted to kill me. I brought my Tamagotchi to school a lot as a kid and played it with my cousins and classmates. We were able to connect with each other with the infrared feature and have Tama playdates during recess. A funny story is that one time I interrupted my cousin's playdate with her friend by connecting at the same time. We all laughed our butts off. Later on, Tamagotchis got banned at school and teachers began taking them away from students. They were too loud, some students didn't mute or pause, and too distracting. I actually know some teachers who never gave back their students Tamagotchis and still have it to this day. I am not sure what they did with it. Eventually the fad died out and nobody played anymore. I played on and off, and I had a super small collection up until recently. I found people online who still played, and they were all around my age and older, surprisingly. They have communities all over social media, such as Facebook, Reddit, and Discord. This is my ever-growing collection. I began collecting seriously around 2018, and before 2018, I had 3 from my childhood. I tend to prefer the black and white ones over the color LEDs, but it all really depends on my mood. They just feel more nostalgic and more like a true Tamagotchi to me. Out of the 3 Tamagotchis I had from my childhood, 2 of them were broken. The first one being the original one I had. I broke my first Tamagotchi from messing with the circuit board using a pencil. I was trying to hack my Tamagotchi to get whichever character I wanted. I couldn't rub the graphite off and it stayed in hack mode forever. The second one is more of a funny story. I was playing with it one day and put it down to go do something else. I came back half an hour later and my baby brother had dunked it into a container of water. Great. I panicked and tried to fix it, but unfortunately it was completely waterlogged. Okay, it's trivia time. If any of you guys thought these were little known fun facts, there's even more obscure ones. The last 5 slides will all be fun facts about the franchise that the ordinary person probably doesn't know. Hope you're prepared because there's some pretty wacky ones. So, let's dive right into it. Do you remember the Nanos I mentioned once earlier? Probably not. Most of them are collaborations that Bandai did with other famous franchises. These include Star Wars, Pac-Man, Sanrio, Disney, Pokemon, and a few random animes such as Evangelion and Demon Slayer. They are still making more of these. Tamagotchis can either be dirt cheap or crazy expensive. Just look at this one listing. The prices depend on a few things: popularity, stock, and whether or not the seller's a greedy jerk. Like, I get it, you want to make big profit, but come on, this is just highway robbery. Talk about being a complete ripoff. Also, be careful of the dirt cheap ones you find online because a lot of them are fake. China makes a lot of bootleg Tamagotchis and they are horrible quality. Like, man, it's trashed here. They break really easily just from dropping it or being in a pocket. I do not recommend. Spend your money on a chocolate bar or something. A lot of the Tamagotchis had their own website called Tamatown. You could play a bunch of games on it and win prizes to send back to your Tama. Unfortunately, most of them shut down and are no longer active. But hey, one of the latest color versions has Bluetooth and could connect with your phone. Man, they really have come far with this technology thing, I must say. In 1998, there is a small field in the United Kingdom for burying Tamagotchis. Even though you could reset the device, people chose not to and treated it like a real dead pet. People from all over the world sent their dead Tamagotchi to this one field to be buried. It's kind of sentimental when you think about it. And that's all the fun facts! Tamagotchis are one of my favorite franchises and I'm very passionate about it. I love collecting them and I'm sure some of you grew up with them. Hope you all enjoyed my presentation and learned something new because that's what I was aiming for. Thanks so much for listening and have a nice day!